Oh, thank you all so much for being here. I love getting to be back in Northern Kentucky. I've been asked a lot. I said this at the 4th District dinner. Why are you up here so much? You know, those folks don't vote. They don't turn out. I said, two real specific reasons. The economic engine in Kentucky right now, one of the few places in the entire state that's growing. And the second people is the folks that are engaged care a lot. And you're going to learn a lot from them. So I'm happy to be back up here. I'm going to share briefly a little bit about my backstory so you know who I am, what we've done. But beyond that, I'm going to go back in time a little bit before we talk about the Keck game plan. Two most important things in my life, unequivocally, always will be, my faith and my family. I was saved at 12 years old. I'm a born-again Christian, and I share it for two specific reasons. One is it's foundational for me. My decision-making matrix comes from that. I always want to honor the Lord and point people to Him in the decisions that we make. The second thing, though, is I think it's the single greatest point or freedom in our country, religious liberty and religious freedom. We always should fight for that. We have to fight for those who disagree with us just as much who agree, so that our religious liberties and freedoms will never be infringed upon. Second, most important thing to me is my family. I'm blessed to be married to my wife Tiffany, 13 years. We have 3 daughters, 10, 8, and 5, Olivia, Oakley, and Olson. And I love to get to be their dad. Like Mike, you know, it's a privilege to be a family man and to try to train them up, to dream big, to chase whatever they feel like God has laid on their heart. And I'll close with saying that let's stop celebrating politicians' sacrifice. Look, Mr. Cooper's really sacrificed. He's running for governor. He served our country for 17 years. Nurses, doctors, teachers, people that have truly sacrificed, we don't need to be praised for the things that we do. And let's stop standing up for congressmen when they walk in the room. They work for us. We do it for ours, and I love him. He's a good guy. But I think if we're going to return the power back to the people, we probably should start with how we treat them. I'm going to go backwards a little bit and tell you a couple quick things. So I'm the mayor of Somerset, 2-term mayor of Somerset. Had a call to service to try to transform my hometown. What led me to that is a first-generation Plasketonian who had no family that had ever run for office, sort of the quintessential anti-good old boy, if you will. It's because I saw a community that had unmatched potential. A place that I thought was this hidden gem that could do so much. And I'm a 4th-generation businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. My father started a recycling business in the mid-'80s, long before recycling was cool, and it certainly wasn't profitable. But I learned so much about building a team, about surrounding yourself with great people, about the pressures of making a payroll, the things that make this country great. I helped grow that business. We do business all over the country, employ about 100 people, sell product in multiple countries across the globe. And I took that business sense of urgency to the city, and we accomplished so much. In small town Kentucky, small town Somerset, we had downtown revitalization, record investment in our first responders, and record revenue across every sector, right in the middle of COVID, every year in my 4 years, without raising a single rate. How did we do it? We leaned into exactly who we are. We were really proud of who we were as Kentuckians, stopped apologizing for what we're not, started aggressively telling our story, the things that I think Kentucky now needs to do. But I'm going to go back to the fall of 2022. Because this is an interesting race. You got a lot of competent, capable, quality people. They're telling you what they think. We're talking about hot button issues. But if we go back to the fall of 2022, what do we hear nationally? Red wave. Universal red wave. We're going to take the Senate. We're going to blow up. We're going to blow the House out. We're going to gather 20, 30, 40, 50 seats maybe. What happened? 70% of the country said we're going in the wrong direction. And we barely survived because we didn't hear a plan. We didn't hear a platform. Look, I'm a limited government conservative. But good governance is okay. You know, for me, my philosophy is whatever government needs to do, whatever's necessary, it should be great at it. And whatever's not, it needs to get the heck out of our way and out of our lives. And so when we announced in this race, I didn't wait for polling. I didn't wait for consultants to tell me what was important. We launched with the Keck game plan. It's a living, breathing document. You can get a copy of it over there. We put it online for the world to see. It was hard and it was risky. You know, we see others in this race that are rolling it out week by week, maybe a nugget here. Some talk about nothing other than national issues. But we need a governor, and I agree with Mr. Harmon. Beating Andy's critical. But man, we're going to have to go a step further because Kentucky hasn't been winning for a long time. Whoever gets elected is going to have to work, and thank you men and women in here that serve in the legislature. Somebody's going to have to build consensus. And right, look, before we start working with Democrats, we're going to have to make sure we got consensus among an 80-plus person caucus and a 31 or 32 person caucus in the Senate. But we just left our second slowest decade of growth in 100 years in this state. Tennessee's ballooning, they're blowing up. Ohio, Indiana, blossoming. And we're 44th in healthcare, 48th in median income, 48th in workforce. Look, we're not winning. We're not doing good. Those are the facts. If you look right now, actually, Kentucky, which we're so proud to be conservative, me too, Kentucky right now, dollar for dollar, is the worst investment in America. That crushes me to say. For every dollar we're sending Washington, we're getting $2.50 back. You could argue, in some ways, we're becoming the nanny state. And I think we're better than that. And so the Keck game plan walks through strategic growth in the economy. It talks about public safety because we have to support men and women in law enforcement and who wear the badge and who serve our country in word and deed. It talks about the education system, school choice, yes, but also supporting public educators because we're not going to elect a Republican governor if we continue to demonize every school teacher in this state. Notice I said teacher, not administrator. And then we've got to have some pro-family policies that go beyond life. Things that will recruit and attract more people to have families. Families will move here, encourage people to adopt and foster. We have to get creative. That's good governance. The Keck game plan does that. I'd love to share more with you after this, but I think I got a couple minutes. I want to make sure I get to answer some questions.
Same questions before for Mr. Harmon. Based on the candidates that are in the race, what kind of sets you apart?
Yeah, I'd say three quick things. We've heard a lot about transparency. I've answered over 850 questions. Never ducked a question from a citizen or the media. Second thing, Mike does have the most experience. I would say I have the most practical. You know, I was a CEO in my private life, managing 100 people. I'm the CEO of a city with 400 plus employees, close to $100 million budget. Look, that is on-the-job practical training. As mayor of one of the largest municipalities in the state, I deal with infrastructure, public safety, economic development. I have a legislative body. That's experience that's going to allow me to build consensus and be a change agent on day one. And the last thing is vision. I can tell you exactly where I want to take Kentucky. You know, not talking points and poll-tested stuff about other things. You know, I'm not running for president of the United States Senate. I'm running for governor. We need to talk about issues that Kentucky faces, and I think that, you know, those three things really set us apart. Yes, and then yes.
So, I'm going to ask you a question that if I was running for governor, I probably would want to dance around.
Sure.
What do you think we need to do about entitlements to get people forced back to work? As a business owner, as a CEO, you know the challenges are real. I got convicted felons turning down $20+ an hour because they're not missing any meals.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly.
They can't read or write, and they don't care.
Yeah. Sliding scale benefit reform. Here's the policy. Take care of the working poor, not those who are willing to work. It'll transform Kentucky's economy. Those that are trying their best, going to work every day, let them keep a piece of that entitlement and better their lives and fill that seat. And those that are unwilling to work are going to lose a check. It'll take these great men and women in the legislature, and it'll take people in Washington. That's how we grow, and that's how we transform our economy. Get rid of the benefit cliff, sliding scale benefit reform. Yes, sir.
And as do you support the exceptions to our no abortion rules in the state?
Yeah, I do, and I'd like to explain why. You know, I'm a pro-life Christian conservative, and as a dad of 3 girls, I really struggle with this one. My head and my heart sometimes don't match up. But I think that we have to give some consideration when a violent crime, a violent sin is forced on a woman. I think there's some consideration for that woman. That doesn't devalue the life of the child. I want y'all to hear me clear. I would never encourage someone to have an abortion. But I do, and I think I might be a little unique in this race to say that. We've seen some other candidates say no exceptions in primaries, and then they change in a general, but that's my stance. Thank you for the question. Yes, sir. That's one or no?
Follow up on that. You're supporting, you're a Christian, you said. Do you think God makes mistakes?
I don't. I mean, in a biblical argument, though, there's a lot of instances where
God creates all life.
If
you're avoiding those 2 exceptions, you're saying that God made a mistake, and you're going to correct it.
Well, do you support the death penalty?
Yes.
Okay. So did God make a mistake when that violent crime was committed?
God didn't create life. God didn't create the crime. He creates life.
Rape is a crime.
Rape is a crime.
I'd love to have the discussion after. I recognize that it's not going to be the same for everybody, but yes, I stand behind that exception. Thank you.